All right, here we go, folks. We already have multiple complaints from Trump voters about the negative downstream effects of Donald Trump's proposed tariff policies. Number one, they don't even know what tariffs are. Number two, they are just now realizing that tariffs are paid by American manufacturers. And number three, they are not happy. So, of course, Trump does not take office for 74 more days. But when we live in a free market, capitalistic society like America, markets are reactive. Markets are reactive to what is coming up in the future. So, companies now know they have to prepare for the potential of tariffs. They now know they need this extra revenue to pay the tariffs. They now know they need more in their stock, and we are seeing the effects play out in real time. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe so we can build this pro-democracy community, and let's jump right in. You know, I want to start off with one of my favorite tweets of all time, and this describes what we're going to be seeing a lot of over the next 4 years. This reads, quote, "I never thought the leopards would eat my face," sobs woman who voted for the leopards eating people's faces party. And it's basically illustrating that people will constantly vote against their own interests, undermine their own health and life just to vote based off of vibes. For example, a few months back, there was a woman telling me that she needed healthcare for her autistic son. She needed therapy for her autistic son, but she didn't have access. And I talked to her. I said, "Do you think the government should be able to provide a bare minimum level of healthcare for people in need?" And she says, yes. You know what? I can pull up the video before we break down today's topic. These Trump supporters are voting against their own interests.
Tell me what issues are at the top of your mind heading into this election.
I would say Medicare, Medicaid. Our son's on Social Security. He was diagnosed with autism, and we're having the runaround of trying to get therapies covered and stuff like that. He is not getting anything for the month because we make too much money. I'm a stay-at-home mom, but we have to do one income with my husband or with my son's schedule and everything.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of hard financially, and I'm trying to figure out, you know, the education, the Social Security, all that is.
Okay, so first of all, none of this is meant to undermine this woman's lived experience, this Trump supporter's lived experience, but she just named a few things. She said, "I'm worried about Social Security. I'm worried about Medicare, Medicaid." She even said, "We're trying to get education figured out."
I'm trying to figure out, you know, the education,
So I want to ask the question, do you think liberals are better for Medicare, Medicaid, for education, for healthcare as a whole, and providing therapies to families in need? I would say liberals are better 10 out of 10 times. Not to mention Donald Trump's plan to cut entitlements because he wants to cut taxes for the rich, but also he doesn't want a deficit spend, so you necessarily have to cut entitlements.
the Social Security, all that is a loophole, and I wish it was better and not so hard to understand.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Do you think the government should be able to provide at least a bare minimum level of medical care for people?
To an extent, if you have a disability, yes. I don't think anybody should get a free ride by any means. Like I said, we have insurance.
Okay, so even with her conservative spin that nobody deserves a free ride, she still even concedes that people with disabilities, most likely people with pre-existing conditions, should be able to have help from the government. So why does Donald Trump want to slash pre-existing conditions or slash the Affordable Care Act? It makes no sense at all. Let's get on to the main topic of today. I want to show you this, and then I want to show you some Trump supporters realizing, oh shit, Project 2025 actually is real. First of all, this comment reads, "Results have already started." This is from an American woman today. Quote, "My husband works for a small manufacturing company, and here in southwestern PA, that means most employees are Trump voters. When the president of the company sat them down today to tell them their annual Christmas bonus would not come this year because they need to now purchase at least a year's worth of products prior to January due to the proposed tariffs, they didn't understand. My husband said that their president had to explain what a tariff is and how it will directly hurt their company. They all thought the foreign company paid the tariff. This is the level of ignorance, voting against their own interests here in Pennsylvania, where we failed American women and children last night." And that is what Donald Trump was banking on. He could straight up lie about what tariffs are, straight up lie about who has to pay the costs on tariffs, and in the process, screw over Americans who thought they were voting for a better life. We even have futures already going up. And keep in mind, when a president signals a potential tariff, companies have to begin stocking up money, stocking up resources, sources to pay those tariffs off. For example, Farm Futures reads, Trump's return set to upend trade for American farmers. The world expects a fresh round of trade disruptions, and American farmers are willing to go along for the ride, I guess. Donald Trump's re-election promises have another shakeup for American agriculture. Expectations for a fresh round of trade disruptions with China sent soybeans, corn, and wheat futures made them plunge on early Wednesday. All of these futures are absolutely plunging. Also, Trump, who rewrote trade with Mexico and Canada, threw $28 billion at farmers to try to soften the blow during his administration, and it didn't work out too well. Trump has proposed a 10 to 20% tariff across the board on all imported goods into the U.S. and a 60% tariff on Chinese products, which is an absolutely disastrous idea. But honestly, do you guys feel bad? I genuinely want to know, like, if Trump supporters get screwed over by their own vote, do you guys feel bad? Because I'm starting to not feel bad whatsoever. The intuitive empathy in me tells me that, yes, this is probably a good woman right here, but if she gets her Social Security slashed or her son's, do I care? I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell. But the other day, we learned that Matt Walsh and other right-wingers were tweeting, hey guys, Project 2025 is the agenda. For example, Matt Walsh said, quote, now that the election is over, we can finally say that, yeah, actually Project 2025 is the agenda. Lol. Benny Johnson also said, it is my honor to inform you that all of Project 2025 was real. Beau French, a local Texas GOP official who has power in Texas, said, can we all admit that we are going to implement Project 2025 now, please? So it's very, very interesting because now Trump supporters are responding with things like this. Peggy Nicholson said, I didn't think it was a joke. When my child is gay and he's been going through loops and hurdles, he doesn't believe in the trans. He's not a part of the LGBTQ+. He just wants to be left alone. I'm sorry, Peggy Nelson. She then said, better leave my son out of this. He's gay, but don't believe in the trans thing or changing any male parts. He voted for Trump, and I'm hoping this Project 2025 doesn't mess with my son. He doesn't partake in the LGBTQ+. He just wants to be left alone. He's not LGBTQ, guys. He's just gay. He's just gay. Someone that's named You Will Never Like Me said, I'm black. I just got into politics this year. I learned the Republicans think Trump doesn't want Project 2025, sorry. I love Matt Walsh, and I really hope he's joking. This shit is kind of scary for people like me, bro. I'm sorry, man. You voted Trump. You reaped the rewards. It's another example of, I never thought the leopards would eat my face, says the person who voted for the leopards eating people's face party. Yeah, I'm sorry to you guys if you don't like that I'm starting to lose empathy for Trump supporters, but I think most of you will agree that some of this empathy is not warranted anymore. So, after Matt Walsh said that Project 2025 is real, Serenity said there will be folks keeping him in check. I'd have to see it to believe it. This is a Trump supporter saying, I'd have to see it to believe it. Elevate said, not funny. As a Trump supporter, Project 2025 needs to be burned and its writers slapped for being so stupid. This doesn't sound like a MAGA cultist who wants a Christian theocracy, but this guy didn't know what he was getting into. Hermit Hobbyist said in response, it's conservative wokeness. Woke shit. That's what you're supporting. And honestly, that's a good equivalent right there. I don't believe that wokeness is the problem or that wokeness is ruining America, but if you want to say that wokeness equals the far left, then yeah, sure, Project 2025 is the far right's version of trying to turn our country into wokeness, to use their terms. Shannon said, it's sarcasm, you idiots. Sarcasm. Nobody's banning anything but illegal aliens. Oh, that's comforting. Mike Gager said, my wife literally believes Project 2025. Stop. Valkamaya said, again, Walsh, America first, MAGA, is not your Christian renaissance. You can't co-opt the movement. This is a coalition of Americans for America that is not tied to your wants. Killer Wasp said, there's also a lot of really shitty stuff in Project 2025. I wouldn't accept it in whole. Boiler said, like what? If Trump fully backs that, doesn't this make him a liar already to us voters? He acted like he wants nothing to do with it. That's a good point. Matt Walsh immediately comes out and says, like, we're liars, guys. We lied to you to get elected. Joey said, not true. We hate it, and so does Vance and Trump. The only thing is, Project 2025 is largely based off Trump's first term, when he tried to enact those Schedule F executive orders, which says that he could fire or hire people based on their loyalty to him, not their merit or their skill. That is what Project 2025 is laying the groundwork for. So we need to be ready. I want to read this one last post by friend of the show, Micah Irfan, who I'll bring on the show soon to talk about this, but it's about where we go from here. He said, "My takeaway from the results, it looks like America shifted right. A lot. Some of this has to do with frustrations over inflation, sure, but I think there's more here. Democrats have been running campaigns the old-fashioned way, and I think we need to acknowledge that it's not cutting it. We raise money like crazy, we mop the floor with Republicans in voter contact efforts, get out the vote operations and advertising. We also get way more major endorsements. But does the Oprah endorsement matter? I guess not. At the end of the day, it barely makes a difference. Most voters get their news through social media and on social media platforms. We are getting washed. Since 2015, Republicans have been building up their infrastructure to control the airwaves, and right now they do. Elon Musk buying X was a huge leap for them. Their content gets more impressions on nearly every platform, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter. Right-wingers are dominating. The only way to fix this problem is huge investments in our digital apparatus. We need more creators and lots of them. It's really interesting, guys. A few weeks ago, I thought I was just a small part of a huge operation within the country. And of course, I still am, but it's now looking like in a few years, this digital media sphere that we've built could be a very, very important piece for the Democratic Party, and this election proved that. Think about that for a bit. Chew on that. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace out.